Valentine's Day is hitting the shelves at the Dollar Tree, and I have some fun, easy Valentine's Day crafts to share with you. I'm really glad the Dollar Tree carries these 12 by 12 stretch canvases. I think they're a great size for making some personalized wall art. In addition to one of these canvases, I'm also going to be using a wooden letter M because that's what my last name starts with. And I have two different packs of hearts here. One are wooden hearts and one are foam hearts. I wanted to keep my canvas white, so in order for my M to stand out, I gave it a quick coat of red chalk paint. If you wanted to paint your canvas a different color, you definitely could do that. I would just make sure that whatever color you're painting your letter stands out a bit from the canvas itself. While that letter M was drying, I wanted to mark on my canvas where the center was. This was pretty easy because it is a 12 by 12 canvas, so I just had to place a mark at the 6-inch on both sides. I laid a little X there with some pencil, and before I hot glued my M down, I made sure to erase that mark so it was really faint and you could barely see it. This was just a guide for me so that I could get the M in the center as best as I could. I wanted the hearts to look like they were bursting out of the M. And like I said, I have two different types of hearts here. Some are wood and some are foam. If you don't have these types of wood, you could definitely just cut hearts out of construction paper in different colors, and I think that would look just as cute. I was lucky that I had these in my stash already, so it gave some extra texture to my canvas. So you can see here, I just started laying the hearts out. I pointed the bottoms of the hearts so that they would all be pointing towards the center to give it more of that burst look. And then once I had all of the hearts laid out how I liked it, I went through and I hot glued all of the wooden hearts down, and the foam hearts were actually stickers, so I just had to peel the backing off of those and stick those in place as well. I think this is a really cute Valentine's project, and this would make a really great gift too. You could personalize it for whoever you're giving it to. Homemade baked goods are one of my favorite gifts to receive, and I want to share some of my baked goods with my family this Valentine's Day. So I started taking some baking classes on Craftsy, and Craftsy is the sponsor of today's video. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. As a DIYer, I'm always excited to learn new skills. Craftsy offers more than 2,000 classes in a variety of topics such as sewing, quilting, crocheting, and what I'm interested in, baking. I really enjoyed the class Coffee Shop Cakes Good to the Last Crumb, taught by Dee Dee Wilson. In one of the lessons, Dee Dee goes into depth on the different types of pans and ingredients that help make your baked items more successful, which I found to be really helpful. Now that the weather is cold here in Pennsylvania, I love using my oven to make baked goods and treats. I had some overripe bananas that I needed to use up, and I was able to search on Craftsy for an easy banana recipe, and I found a simple 5-ingredient banana cookie that is really tasty, and I'm looking forward to sharing these with friends and family. Craftsy classes are taught by talented and friendly experts. I appreciate that the classes are broken down into short, easy to follow lessons, so I can learn at a pace that works for me. If you are looking for a new hobby or skill, Craftsy has over 20 categories of classes to fit any interest or skill level. If you want to join the creative community of Craftsy, the first 1,000 people to use my link in the description box below will get a full year of premium membership for just $1.49. This special offer is valid for new members only. I've enjoyed learning and exploring all that Craftsy has to offer, and I'm sure you will find lots of things that will interest you as well. Thank you again to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. I thought these paper to-go cups from the Dollar Tree that had a Valentine's Day print on them would be a great way to package up these cookies to give as a gift. I put 2 of the cookies in one of these snack-size Ziploc bags. I needed to fold the top down so that it would fit better in the cup, so I just folded it over and I used a little heart sticker to keep it in place. Then I added some paper shred to the bottom of my cup. I put my little package of cookies in. I added in 2 tea bags and a few chocolates because why not? And then I topped the whole thing off with just a bit more paper shred. I added the lid back to the cup, and these packs of cups come with the little cardboard sleeve that goes around them, and they say XOXO on them, which I thought was so cute for Valentine's Day. And I think this makes a really cute gift for somebody in your family, a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, anybody that you want to show a little extra love to for Valentine's Day. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that I have quite the collection of wood pieces that I'm trying to work my way through. So I'm using one of the smaller wooden crates from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using 2 different sizes of craft sticks. One are pretty large. I get these at Walmart, and the other ones are just the standard popsicle size craft sticks. And I also have a few little Valentine's Day stickers in my stash that I'm going to use too. I needed to cut these giant wooden craft sticks down to a better size. So I'm using my large paper trimmer here, and my wooden crate measured about 5 inches across. I wanted these craft sticks to be just a bit larger, so I cut those down to 6 inches. I only needed 2 here, and I'm going to stick those next to each other to create a bigger wooden piece. And in order to do that, I'm going to use some painter's tape to hold the 2 pieces together. And the scrap pieces that I cut off of the ends of each of the wooden craft sticks, I'm going to use those to attach the 2 sticks. So I'm just using some hot glue on one of those scrap pieces, and I'm laying it across the seam between the 2 craft sticks that I cut down. And this will hold the 2 pieces together to make it look like one wooden piece rather than 2. Next, I'm giving all of my wooden pieces a coat of red chalk paint. So you can see I have the 2 larger craft sticks that I glued together. I have 2 of the popsicle size craft sticks, and I have that wooden crate, and I painted them all the same color. After my paint was dry, I took my sanding block and I sanded on the edges of all of the wooden pieces, concentrating on the corners and the edges just to give it a slightly distressed look. I created a decal on my Cricut that says Kissing Booth. If you don't have a Cricut, you could use some letter stickers here, or you could just handwrite it. And I laid that on top of those 2 wooden craft sticks that I had glued together. This is going to be the sign that will sit on top of our wooden crate. To get everything assembled, I just hot glued the 2 popsicle sticks on the back side of my Kissing Booth sign, and then I hot glued that whole piece to the back side of my wooden crate. I had some larger wooden black beads in my stash, and I wanted to hot glue these on the bottom of my Kissing Booth to look like wheels. After I glued them on, I realized they didn't really look like wheels, so I dug around in my paper craft stash and I got out some black cardstock and some silver glitter cardstock. I have 2 hole punches here. One is an 1.5 inch circle and one is a 1 inch circle, and I just cut 4 of each of those out. I cut 4 of the 1.5 inch on the black cardstock, and then I cut 4 of the silver glitter cardstock in the 1 inch circle, and I layered those on top of each other, and I hot glued those over top of where the wooden beads were, and I felt like it looked more like a wheel than the actual bead did. If you don't have these paper punches in your stash, you can skip this step altogether. I just thought it gave it a really cute touch. Or if you don't have paper punches, you could always look around in your craft room for anything that's round and just trace it onto the cardstock to create your own wheels. Now that my Kissing Booth cart is all assembled, I went to work decorating it. I have a bunch of stickers in my craft stash because I do love to do paper crafts, so they came in really handy for this. I added some hearts to the wheels, and I had these lip stickers that I added to the sign at the top of the cart, and then I had some felt hearts that I added as an embellishment on the front. You can decorate this however you like, and since this is a Kissing Booth cart, I thought it would look really cute if I filled it with Hershey Kisses to put out for Valentine's Day. had these two small vases in my craft stash, so I wanted to use one of them to display a stuffed heart. For the actual heart part, I'm using some red felt that I got in a roll from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a dowel rod to stick it into the vase, and then I'll be decorating it with different things like felt heart, greenery, ribbons, different things like that. To create a pattern for my stuffed heart, I just took a plain piece of white paper and I folded it in half, and then I used my scissors and I just went freehand to cut out a heart shape. If you're not comfortable doing that, you could find maybe like a wooden heart shape or something like that and use that to trace your pattern. But I liked the shape of this one, so I went with that. Then I took my roll of felt, I folded it in half so that it would be doubled up. I laid my pattern over top of it and I just used a Sharpie to outline my pattern. Then I used some sharp scissors and I cut through both pieces of the felt at the same time. Starting at the bottom of my heart pieces, I laid a bead of hot glue down about 3/4 of an inch from the edge, and then I laid my dowel rod into it. Now you can see I only put the very top of my dowel rod into the heart, and that was actually a mistake. So whenever you go to do yours, make sure that your dowel rod goes the whole way up to the top of the heart so that it doesn't flop around. I ended up having to take my dowel rod out and put it back in so that it was the whole way to the top of the heart. But you can see here, I'm just continuing around the edge of my heart and I'm leaving about 3/4 of an inch on the edge there where I'm laying down my glue line. Now, if you had a sewing machine, this would be really easy just to sew around real quick. And I did leave the one section of the heart open so that I could add my pillow stuffing. And as I was stuffing it, when I went to pick it up, that's when I realized that my heart was going to flop over. And I didn't want a floppy heart. So like I said, I did have to open that bottom back up and put my dowel rod back in. But as long as you get the dowel rod the whole way to the top of the heart, it won't flop over for you. Once I had my heart stuffed as much as I liked it, then I went through and I closed that section up again with hot glue. And I just made sure, like I said, to stay about 3/4 of an inch from the edge. The reason I stayed away from the edge with the hot glue is because I wanted to make fringes on the outside part. So I'm just using my scissor here and I'm cutting through both layers of the felt in, I would say, 1/4 to 1/2 inch sections just to give it a little bit of texture around the outside. And you could do the same thing even if you sewed it rather than hot glued it. You would just keep your stitch about 3/4 from the edge and then go through with your scissors and cut in your little fringes. This felt from the Dollar Tree is pretty thin, so there were quite a few areas where I could see the hot glue had seeped through, and I didn't really care for that. I thought it made it look a little messy. So to cover that up, I have this macrame cord, and I'm just running it along the indentation part of the heart there. It'll hide the hot glue, and it'll give it another little extra embellishment. You could add any kind of decorations or embellishments to your heart. I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm just using a few pieces of greenery in the center, and then I layered a little felt heart piece on top of it. And at the bottom where those two ends of that macrame cord came together, I just took some red and white gingham ribbon. I tied a simple bow and I hot glued that to the top of that part. Now keep in mind too, if you want to use this as a little piece as a filler for maybe a tiered tray or a coffee bar, you don't have to add the dowel rod at all. The stuffed heart by itself would make a really cute decoration without being put into a vase. But because I did have this little vase and I wanted to make it look more like a pedestal, I added the dowel to mine, and for my little vase I just added in some floral foam. I stuck my dowel rod inside and then I covered up that foam with a little bit of moss. Thank you again to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the description box. The first 1,000 of you to click on the link will get a full year of premium membership for just $1.49. All right, everyone, if you need even more crafting inspiration, check out one of the videos I left on the screen. I hope you have a great week. I hope your winter is going okay so far, and I'll talk to you in the next one.